So listen, we have created a fundamentally unfair situation for your generation. On one hand, we've told you, and you've heard it here tonight a little bit, we've told you to go and innovate, to go redefine our industries, go create, to go find yourselves, to be authentic. And on the other hand, we've handed down to you a structure, a system, a way of viewing life that fundamentally argues against innovation, creativity, self-expression, etc. So I've spent the last 25 years of my life working on human development and what it takes to create transformation with human beings in corporate environments and with students. Early on, I had an insight about something that's informed the whole body of work that we've done, and it's this. Every single person in this society seems to have the exact same job. So a couple of reference points. I'll leave you hanging on what that job is. I'll give you a couple of examples first. So about 15 years ago, an executive from one of our client organizations called. It was around September, October of the year, near the end of the year, basically. And we got basically this call. Hey, listen, we're going to make too much money this year. We need to figure out a way to spend some of it. How much can you guys take? Now, I'm paraphrasing that for purposes of humor. The executives being very responsible. They weren't looking to throw money out the window. They were looking for responsible ways to spend that money and building infrastructure. But they wouldn't have done any of that had they not been concerned that they were going to report too much income. That sounds a little nuts, doesn't it? Making too much money is a problem. Let me give you a second example a little closer to home for you. So folks your age, have jobs around the house. Common household job for young folks, mowing the lawn. So let's say your job is to mow the lawn every Saturday. And, you get it done within a day on either side, it's fine. You get it done on Friday, it's fine. You get it done on Sunday, it's fine. What happens if Saturday you don't mow the lawn, Sunday you don't mow the lawn, Monday you don't mow the lawn, Tuesday you don't mow the lawn, Wednesday you don't? What happens? You're in trouble, yeah? Take the reverse scenario. Your job is to mow the lawn every Saturday, plus or minus a day. You mow the lawn on Saturday, and then Sunday you go back out there and you decide to touch up the edges. And then Monday you come home from school and you decide to go over the lawn again, just in case. And Tuesday you come home from school and you decide, let me check those edges again. And Wednesday, I think I missed a little spot in the corner over there, and you go out and mow the lawn again. What are your parents going to think? They're going to get excited? Oh boy, he's really got some enthusiasm about the lawn. No, they're going to, what's going on? Wait a minute, are grades coming out soon? You know what? I bet this is about a new car. He's been hinting at a new car. That's probably what this is about, right? That behavior, even though it's more of what you're supposed to be doing, the initial response is, it's a problem. What's that about? What's that corporate executive's concern about making too much money about? What it's about, in my experience, is the one job we all seem to have in this society. It's this. Everybody's job is this. Maintain control, predictability, reliability. A corporate executive's job is not, in traditional organizations, we had a speaker earlier who talked to us about some non-traditional organizations that are emerging, that's a very exciting set of trends. But in traditional organizations, a manager's job is not growth and revenue. It's control, predictability, reliability relative to growth and revenue. You know what a doctor's job is? It's not health. Now, every individual doctor I've met, they're very concerned with health. But that's not the design of their job. The design of their job is control, predictability, reliability relative to health outcomes. So, surgery of type X with a 94.6% success rate, plus or minus 0.5%. And everything's fine. Now, that individual doctor may well want a 100% success rate, but the design of the system that we're handing over to you is maintain control, predictability, reliability relative to health outcomes. That's the healthcare professional's job. You know what your teacher's job is? It's not education, not in terms of how the system's designed. I'm sure your teachers are very committed to education. Again, my experience with my daughter and the teacher she's had, very committed to education. But the design of the job is not that. The design is control, predictability, reliability relative to educational outcomes. In Connecticut, we have CMTs, or we had before Common Core. I know we've got a new set of standards, but You probably remember some kind of standardized testing from middle school, elementary school. And so that fourth grade teacher in my school district, her job is not education of the children. It's control, predictability, reliability. 620 CMT math score, plus or minus, 620 is our district average, plus or minus 20 points. And everything's fine. And there's other standards like that, right? Math, there's reading, there's writing, there's attendance, there's all these things. But all of those things are measured in this way. Oh, you're a little ahead of me, but that's okay. You can stay there. All of them are measured in this way. Think about your relationship with your friends, okay? Your best friend is a Taylor Swift fanatic, okay? Just loves the music, loves Taylor. Next time you see her or him, she's wearing a death metal t-shirt, got a half-sleeve tattoo, and 4 face piercings. What's your reaction? Are you curious? Or is there a problem? What happened to you? Even in our personal relationships, what we orient from is control, predictability, reliability. You should be tomorrow who you were today. I should be tomorrow who I am today. And then it varies up or down, right? So really, for a manager, it's not a flat revenue, right? It's $500 million in profit, plus or minus $5 million, and then increasing 10% a year based on growth initiatives, right? Or in school, it's student absenteeism of 5%, plus or minus 0.5%, decreasing 0.25% a year based on new school policies and such, right? But all of it boils down to this. Every job that I've looked at, every human interaction that I look at, is informed by this mindset. If we're living in the matrix, this seems to be the single line of source code. You ever buy a pair of jeans, and in the pocket you get this little slip of paper, inspected by number 8? What's that about? It tells you that pair of jeans meets the performance standards, plus or minus some acceptable variation, for a pair of jeans of that brand at that price point, right? So if you go down to the mall, you buy a $50 pair of jeans, you're going to expect a certain level of performance. That inspected by number 8 tag tells you that somebody's checked on it, and these pair of jeans meet the performance standards that you'd expect for a $50 pair of jeans for that brand, plus or minus some variation from one specific pair to another, right? Guess what your degrees are? You're going to go off to college, and you're going to get a degree. You know what that degree is? It's an inspected by number 8 tag. You go off and get a bachelor's in finance, and that degree is you've been inspected by number 8, whatever that university is, and found to be a generator of predictable, reliable transactions relative to, in that case, entry-level financial transactions, with some degree of acceptable variance from one graduate of that university with that degree to another. Yeah? So I get that, how I'm talking about this makes it sound awful, oppressive. Yeah? If I had an hour, I'd really depress you. But actually, this mindset, this filter on life, has led to the greatest explosion of growth and prosperity in human history. We've always had a predisposition. I think we're biologically wired to crave a certain level of predictability because, think about it. We're hunters and gatherers. Something that's out of the norm could kill us. But the last 200 to 300 years, industrial era, we've made this an absolute science, and it's yielded some amazing things. From medicine, advances in medicine, technology, the iPhone I got in my pocket, some really amazing things. But it's come at a cost. It's come at a really significant cost that creates a real contradiction for what we ask you folks to do over the next 40, 50 years. The immersion in control, predictability, and reliability has left us with this mindset, this understanding, this thought that everything can be engaged with certainty. That everything can be engaged with from the perspective of a right answer and figuring out the right methodology or the right formula. Right? Our tomorrows, your tomorrows, are drowning in a sea of conflicting certainties. Christian certainties, Muslim certainties, Jewish certainties, Hindu certainties, Republican certainties, Democratic certainties, Tea Party certainties, and libertarian certainties, white certainties, black certainties, Hispanic certainties, Asian certainties. We've applied the mindset of control and predictability, the mindset of certainty in areas where it doesn't work. It doesn't work. At a more mundane level, you can't create. You can't innovate from a level of certainty, right? What we've sacrificed is our relationship with mystery. As we've picked up this deep and profound relationship with certainty, we have completely lost our relationship with mystery. Mystery is that which defies specific explanation. I came to this country as an immigrant, about 5 years old, spent about 10 years under the radar as an illegal. America gets talked about, again, through Republican certainty, Democratic certainty, Tea Party certainty, et cetera, gets talked about in certain terms. For me, America is an entry point into a mystery. The mystery is this, that biologically, I am prone to tribalism. It's wired in my genes to protect those who share my bloodline and to not care much about those who don't. And yet, how is it possible for human beings to create a society that is completely and totally heterogeneous in every conceivable way, in ways that we haven't even imagined yet? That's a mystery. That's not a formula. I'm sorry, there is no formula for that. There is no certainty to be brought to that. That's an ongoing conversation that has to get engaged with as a mystery and not as a certainty. Every religion on the planet is an entry point into a mystery. And the mystery is this: I am unclear where it is I came from. I'm unclear where it is I go when I die. And oh, by the way, I'm going to die. I don't know what I should do with myself. I don't know how I should treat other people. I don't know how to make this matter. Every single religion is an entry point into that mystery, which is a conversation. And yet, our only conversation for you is certainty. I do a lot of pro bono work for a couple of religious institutions, national. You folks are leaving religious institutions in droves. I don't blame you. All we offer you is certainty. We don't offer you anything to engage with. The most important one, though, that I want to invite you to look at, the most important mystery, is you. Do you realize none of your parents wanted you? This whole day has been an intervention. We're going to stop here. Your parents are going to come in. They need to have a talk. No, none of your parents wanted. How could they have wanted you? 19 years ago, did they want a 5'7" male who parts his hair on the left, likes to take photographs, is a rabid Justin Bieber fan, and rides a unicycle? I don't know. He looks like he might ride a unicycle. How could they have wanted that? You're a surprise. You're fundamentally a mystery. As you go off into the world, you are not a set of psychological traits measured in some personality test. You're not a set of skills to be developed. You're not your body. You're not your mind. You're not your soul if you believe you have one. You're not your artistic potential. You're not your success potential. You're not your earning potential. You have all of those things. But I'm going to offer you that if you bring every one of those things into a level of certainty, into a level of complete and total certainty, you know exactly what your skills are, you know exactly what your traits are, you know exactly all of these things, right? That you will still remain a mystery. And so, my invitation to you, and I'm cheating here, This conversation really isn't for you, it's for these three. My invitation for you is to live your life at the intersection. This your theme here is intersection, to live your life at the intersection of certainty and mystery, and to be discerning, to be fundamentally, ruthlessly discerning, and understand what parts of your life, what parts of your relationship with others benefit from an engagement at the level of certainty, and what parts of you and what parts of your relationship with others and your relationship with country and your relationship with God benefit from a relationship based in mystery. Thank you.